I think what we should start to get into straight away, Guy, you've got some quick fire questions for our guest today, haven't you?
I have. Now, they're easy questions. There's 9 of them. I was trying to do a number that associated with golf, so I thought 18 was too many. 9's like nice little 9, right?
Suits a beginner.
Exactly. There's
and it's half around the golf.
There's no right or wrong answer to any of these, but I am personally a judge you on some of them. So there's no pressure. You answer.
And I think everyone listening is going to judge you just a little bit.
Okay,
Because this is your first introduction to the listeners. They might already follow you on Instagram, but they might not know any of this. You've never talked about it on your stories, potentially.
Yeah,
so, Guy,
it's not,
ready?
Don't get too excited. They're not great. But question 1, 9 holes or the driving range?
Driving range.
Oh, controversial. But.
I know.
Number 2, Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
Is that a real answer?
Correct.
I probably wouldn't do either, to be honest. I'm not very good at watching TV.
Well, that's why YouTube videos are good.
Really
short
TV.
Rick, you've got a short attention span, haven't you, Rick? You like 4-minute videos, so that's where YouTube's good for you.
4:21.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
And then I'm
like
out.
TikTok. Yeah, I'm done. Otherwise, like if it gets to the amount of series I've started and never finished is so annoying for me on Netflix.
If the first episode's not absolutely amazing, I'm out. Other than Breaking Bad, I watched that and that was a bit slow. Anyway, Spotify or Apple Music?
Spotify.
Oh, controversial.
But you got an Apple iPhone, haven't you?
I know, but Spotify is just the one.
Wow.
Okay. No offense, all listeners that listen on Spotify.
And also Spotify, you want to sponsor the podcast?
We will go Spotify exclusive at the drop of the hat. Tiger or Jack Nicklaus?
Tiger.
Yeah, I'm with you. Driving or putting?
Putting. Oh, no. Oh, I want to say driving.
Yes. Iron head covers, yes or no?
No is the right answer, right?
100%.
That's the correct answer.
First app you open in the morning?
Is Instagram.
I think that's pretty standard, isn't it? And final question, favourite golf brand?
Favourite golf brand for what purpose?
For just anything. So you can do an apparel or you can do a clubs or balls. Just the one brand that so far in your early golfing career you felt drawn to for any reason.
This is really hard because I spend most of my time complaining about golf brands. Adidas and Nike, I know it's controversial to say both, but I'm going to say both.
So take that as a Nike then.
Yeah, it kind of has to be Nike on this podcast.
That was nice.
Very nice. A little introduction there. Like I said, I do want to definitely dive more into your story, but most of what's really interesting for me is that you kind of came from nowhere about 6 or 7 months ago, certainly on Instagram, and it was like, wow, a new golfer, you're in your mid-20s, female, actually storying and making a bit of a bit of noise about your first steps into golf. I thought, wow, this is amazing. I've never seen this really before. I think you do a great job on Instagram. If you want to follow Mia Baker, what's your actual
at Mia Ella X.
There you go.
Because that's my name and someone had took it, so I had to put an X on the end.
Okay, so your actual name is Mia Ella.
Yeah.
Is that your middle name?
Well, it's my middle name, but Mia is also very common these days.
Should we start from the beginning? What got you into it? And I know you might have thought you've told this story a few times already, but listeners will want to hear it. What got you into golf and what got you into kind of documenting your progress?
Yeah, I would say it's actually quite an interesting story. Even I'm surprised sometimes. But basically, my ex-boyfriend's dad was really, really into golf. And he was super kind and actually took me out on a golf course, which I was only driving the buggy, but I just thought it was so beautiful. And he then invited me to go and play on the range. I was like, yeah, sure, I'd definitely hit some balls, and then thought, maybe I could, play this a bit more seriously. Mm-hmm. So for my birthday last September, I was bought some golf clubs, and that kind of meant, Mia, come on, you need to start playing. So went to try and find some golf shoes because you've got to have the gear. Otherwise, what are you meant to wear on the course? Yeah. Obviously. And we went and looked in pro shops and couldn't find any, or there was only one pair for women, or they sold nothing. So we went to the UK's biggest golf retailer, which would make total sense. Flagship store, London. 2 stories, and again they sold nothing for women.
And were you expecting there to be, obviously in that store, a lot of shoes because it's a big store, big retailer, or were you surprised when you went in there was nothing?
Well, I was expecting there to be at least a couple of pairs, and there was nothing. I was offered some pink tees as my only option, And that was
Is
it.
that actually serious? Someone
Yeah.
offered you pink teas?
Well, I said, oh, is there anything for me there? Oh, we've got some pink teas. Wow. So I was like, goodness. And I was thinking, you know, I can't be the only person who has gone into this store and been turned away. You know, you're losing customers here. So I ended up getting in touch with the CEO. And we met, we had a couple of meetings.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was before my Instagram had even started. So this was November time last year. And I basically spoke to the CEO, said, you know, there's a number of things we can do. I looked on their Instagram. They didn't have many women on there featured. They just didn't really target women at all. And there are so many of us out there who do want to have a go. And yeah, we're starting later in our career. You know, we weren't starting when we were 5, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's exciting and it's fun to start and learn and do something new. And, you know, by the time I'm 40, I'm going to be so grateful for my current self for having started when I was like 26.
And maybe a lot of people around the UK, maybe even the world, are going to be grateful that you actually, you know, maybe have taken some steps into putting ladies' clothing into retailers, etc. And was it just, sorry, did you say it was just shoes you went in for as well?
I just went in for shoes.
Did they sell ladies' apparel? Or not?
No,
nothing
for women.
See, that's crazy, because obviously I've worked in golf shops before, and I know Guy has. I've certainly, when I worked at Mia, a really established golf course, we used to have a lady golf professional that worked with us, and also a retailer who was a woman as well. And they used to really pride themselves on the women's stock, and sometimes it didn't suit everyone, granted, but it was a big section in the shop. Like, maybe, you know, it's hard to quantify how much, but like a quarter of the shop was ladies' gear, and it did sell really well. And I know when I've been to, obviously, I don't look for the ladies' clothing, not anymore.
But I think that's the point, though, you know, where you're talking about there's a woman there and they pride themselves in it. If there's no women there.
Correct. Well, I was almost going to come on to that. It was like, I never did any of the ordering for the women's clothing. And if those two women weren't working in the shop, who would have done? I don't really know. But it surprises me that a big retail store didn't have options. It's interesting that you managed to reach to the CEO and get an answer,
which is pretty awesome, to be fair.
And you feel that there's been steps now put in place to you know, prevent that? Is the new lady sections popping up into these stores, or is it still lacking, or would you still change anything? I'd just be interested to hear that.
Yeah, no, to be fair, they were very receptive, and that's what I'm really appreciative of. It's not just, oh, this girl's come in and complaining. She actually wants to help us. She wants to, you know, kind of make a stamp and say, you know, come on, if you're a woman, let's have a go, join in. So, you know, there's more pictures on their Instagram feed now featuring women.
Featuring you? Yeah, we saw you in a golf shop the other day, didn't we?
I was on it.
Well, what was funny, on Tuesday, we'd been down to Trafford Centre. This might give you an idea of the retail store I think
it's fair play to said retail, though, because they've worked with you to try and
yeah, because you're not sure. It's American Golf.
Yeah. I know, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to come across as dobbing them in.
No, I don't think it is. I think the fact that you've spoke with the CEO, to be fair to American Golf, is massive kudos to them.
I think if you'd got no response, that'd have been worse. At least you got a response, and they're based around here, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And their team work really hard to try and get as much women's stuff in. Like, their new Malden store now has like a whole women's section. Still trying to get shoes in there, but they're doing a good job.